This is the Gore Club podcast with Steve Vessell, Ace, and Deathmetal Dave. Fucking Leto.
A very unknown actor / cult leader, Jared Leto.
I know. Please add that. Okay.
Christian Bale's a fucking Oscar. I mean,
all right.
Justin Theroux.
Justin. Here we are, everybody. We are here on the set of American Psycho.
It's hip to be square.
Anyways, I'm Steve Vessell.
I'm drinking water. I'm Deathmetal Dave.
I'm Ace.
Yeah, and tonight we're going to be diving into American Psycho. This is not even a revisited. We've actually never done an episode just on this movie before. We've talked about it a little here and there. It's kind of fun. And I just finished literally reading. I finished it right before you guys came over.
The book.
And holy crap. Yeah, the book. I've seen the movie so many times. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting. Like talking about the cast, talking about the book versus the movie, the politics, the sequel.
I was about to say
the internet memes.
Yeah. I was about to say don't sing the song from it because we'll get demonetized, but there's no way this episode is staying monetized.
Yeah. So I was just bored looking up like how, looking up some of our YouTube as it grows. Thank you people on YouTube watching and subscribing. I was like, man, it's always taking its time. And I forget because most of our stuff is set to adults only because we don't censor ourselves. We don't talk, we say bad words and, I show some bad images in our editing videos. So this is like, I'm going to restrain myself to eloquent sentences only.
Fuck.
Nice.
Oh no, God! This is the book. This is this book. I'd heard about this book before the movie, and just in passing, I was like, oh yeah, whatever. American Psycho. I was at the bookstore next to my house at the time. Well, close to my house, had multiple copies. I bought a freaking original copy. They only released it in paperback. I didn't know that, so I was trying to find a hardback.
Yeah.
And I found it, and of course, someone who I will not name has taken it out of my life, and I bought the second printing of it. And I looked up the original printing with the red face.
Yeah, it's
$1,000.
Yeah, that's the copy I have that I bought. Yeah, I my whole history of this movie. I saw this. I can't remember what I rented, but it was probably something that Lionsgate made, and I rented it, and I saw the trailer for it at the beginning of the movie, and I was like, man, this looks crazy. And in the trailer for this movie has that Rammstein song, like Hyra Tamish or whatever in the trailer. And I was like,
depending on what trailer you see,
Yeah. And I was like, man, this looks awesome. And like went and rented it. And immediately I was probably like 16 when this came out, 15, 16.
Yeah.
And went and rented it and then was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. Like just immediately fell in love with it and then just kept renting it over and over again.
You had to return some videotapes.
Dude, yeah, literally. I rented this movie probably for 5 weekends straight just to show different people. And
holy crap.
And then, I was just I didn't have cable either. I was
oh yeah. Okay.
So I was sitting there renting this movie all the time, being like, oh, you haven't seen it? Let's go to Fast Forward Video. We'll rent it. I'll make you watch it.
It's fucking crazy. See, I worked at the video store, so we got it. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. Let's watch this. I didn't read it because it doesn't have dragons in it. I'm not interested. Doesn't have dragons. Don't fucking bother me with it.
I immediately went out and I bought the book in high school, and that's the copy I still have, which is that one.
Yeah.
So I like this movie so much so that I made a meme out of this movie based on Vinegar Syndrome, where it's the whole hip to be square scene, and I shared it. I shared it on the Facebook page on the Gore Club, where it's where he's talking to him. He's like, "Do you like Vinegar Syndrome?" He's like, "Their early work was a little too pornographic for me."
Oh my God, just delving in. So Dave, when did you get to? You just saw it on the shelf one day. And you're like, you know what? I'll take it home because it's free.
I just rented it and.
You rented from your own store?
Well, no, you get free rentals. I just took it home. It was logged out to me.
You're not going to get fired.
And who's going to fire me? They don't exist.
Joke's on you.
Joke's on you, Hollywood Video. No, but I just rented it. I was like, oh, that looks cool, and watched it, and I was like, oh, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, you watch it, and you're like, oh man, because some people will watch this movie and be like, hey, Patrick Bateman, he's such a cool dude. It's
my God,
he's not a cool dude.
No, that's
well, then what's wrong with you?
You missed the fucking point.
I don't know. I think I always loved
what grabbed you, a serial killer?
It's very quotable. I think it's hilarious. There's still tons of times where I'm hanging out with my buddy Josh, and we'll just be We'll just be like, I gotta go, got a 8:30 res at Dorsia. And we just say shit like that all the time. And then he'll just be like, nobody goes there anymore.
Nobody goes there anymore.
Stuff like that.
Because they're at Texarkana.
Yeah, and like I think it's hilarious. And like as I got older, I picked up more on like the all the 80s like yuppie subculture stuff. It's all like,
yeah, because you weren't a part of that world. I mean, I wasn't either, but I remember that awful world.
This movie takes place in 87. I was like 3 years old.
Fuck you. No, I mean, I wasn't a part of that world, but you saw it all, every day on television, the ads, even the music videos that you knew by when made for snobs by snobs. And it's like, God damn. So it's great. And then whenever let's just dive into this movie. It's like the movie is so iconic in so many different ways and very, very, very divisive, as we like to say on this podcast. I think Dave was the first person to ever use that word. Yeah. And I can't stop using it ever since.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I was trying to see what else came out the week of that. So I probably rented like, I had to watch everything.
He had to rent 3 for a quarter.
You know, Nutty Professor, maybe. I don't know. Anyways.
Ooh, yeah, the Nutty Professor.
Oh, God. Anyways, yes. You're saying?
No, I mean,
movie is divisive.
It is, and I think we should get into those, and like we'll talk about the books versus movies, the politics, the sequels, the writer, all that stuff. But let's just dig into like this cast. And even if at the time you didn't know who the hell these people were, I think a lot of the people, like younger generation, knew who the hell they were.
I only knew who Reese Witherspoon was because I watched Fear with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, yeah, love that movie.
Just like,
that's his best movie, even to this day.
Dude, I love
Maybe because I was so blown away by his performance in this fucking movie. I was like, oh, whatever, let's put this in. I was like, wow, he's really good. And then you watch The Happening.
Yeah. He's like,
Planet of the Apes.
Say hello to your mother for me.
Oh, no. That movie rules. Yeah, Reese Witherspoon. I mean, Willem Dafoe is like one of my childhood guys, like Platoon and,
Oh, yeah, I knew Willem Dafoe from Platoon.
Deer Hunter, right?
Deer Hunter? No, it's Platoon.
He wasn't in Deer Hunter.
No, he wasn't in Deer Hunter.
That's I Got a Fever.
Oh, yeah, that's right. No. Yeah,
he's in Platoon.
He's in Platoon.
I knew him from Platoon because that was another movie.
Well, at this point, he had done so much.
Yeah.
Chloe. How
you say her name?
Chloe Sevigny.
Is that correct, Katie?
Yeah.
That's exactly how you say it. And it's not Savini because that's how I said it for years until I saw her like in an interview or something. And she said Sevigny, and I was like, oh, sweet. Now I know how to say it. So when I talk about her, I'll sound super smart.
You do. I love it. I'm thinking Tom Savini.
And she had been in Kids.
Yeah, that was like another very, very angry movie. Got people really mad.
Yeah, that's a movie. I own Kids on like DVD, but like it was one of those movies. Like I watched it when it came out when I was a kid, and I was like, man, this is like a world I don't even understand because I was like living in the middle of Kentucky.
Yeah.
But I watched it as an adult, and I was like, I don't think I ever want to watch this again.
Yeah, I don't think you should. You're like, I don't think I should own this.
I was like, man, I just feel like so bad after all this.
That ending is fucking wild. I remember seeing that being like, what the hell? And then the credits. Well, we're talking about the credits rolling. I'm just sitting there going, whoa.
Yeah, that's
Kids. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
I didn't recognize her because she looks so different in this, but.
She's older.
Yeah. Josh Lucas, as far as I know, I never thought about him. I didn't think about him until he did like The Incredible Hulk for Ang Lee. Now he does like commercials.
He does a lot of like rom-coms and stuff.
Yeah. Well, she said he's still active right now. Like, what is it, a television show?
Yeah, he was nominated for an Emmy last year for Palm Royale.
Totally watch it all the time.
Kristen Wiig Apple TV show.
No.
But yeah, he's still like, this was, I actually just read an interview where Josh Lucas and Chloe Sevigny were interviewing each other about this movie for the 25th anniversary. And like they're both still very active.
Yeah. I know, Chloe Sevigny was in that The Dead Don't Die movie. She was in that.
The Jim Jarmusch zombie movie? Yeah.
Which is like a total snooze fest. Maybe I'm just not a big Jim Jarmusch fan.
I have still not seen it, and I think that says a lot.
Yeah. But
then you got like Jared Leto, renowned cult leader.
Ugh.
We're not a cult. I love those shirts.
That motherfucker was camping like in the middle of nowhere when COVID hit. There's a story about him. He was like on a retreat, like no cell phones, nothing.
Yeah.
And like he was gone for like the first month of COVID. And then he comes back to the world like, oh no, it's shut down.
Yeah, he's lost. Like, if anybody knows what we're talking about, the cult of Leto is crazy. When I first heard about it, this is a few years ago, I just Googled it. It was like, hey, what's the cult of Leto? And like, holy crap. Like the pictures, the images of him with like waves of mostly women, and they're all wearing white on this tropical island. I'm like, yeah, that's some Jim James shit, dude.
Yeah, he's kind of a creep.
Yeah, and then you hear the stories about the women who come from the retreat and like all the rules and how insane it is. But you at least get to listen to his band every fucking day.
Yeah, he also
fucking shoot me.
Played the worst Joker on
the worst Joker.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Pete Davidson Joker.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you got him, the Justin Theroux. He's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I think he was married to Jennifer Aniston or something, or he still is.
How I learned about him.
Yeah. But how like he's done a lot of stuff. He's directed a lot of stuff. I think what was that? I can't remember. But
who's the kid from Rose Red? He's in this as Lewis.
Oh, Lewis. Yeah.
Matt Ross.
Oh, Matt Ross.
That's
Matt
the
Ross
only other thing
Rose
I know
Red.
him from is Rose Red.
And he's such a scumbag in that. To see him in this as a victim, I was like, oh, I feel bad for this guy.
Yeah.
He was in Silicon Valley.
Okay.
That HBO show that was hilarious. And he plays like a Mark Zuckerberg, Bezos kind of character. So again, he plays a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Asshole.
It was a laugh riot.
Yeah.
It was a laugh, right?
It was a funny show.
Africa. That's the musical or the other thing I'll see in this movie where he saw it with Paul Allen.
Sounds like a laugh riot.
I can't remember. Yeah, it's a laugh riot. I mean, okay, so a lot of people have gone on to much bigger things, but this movie, getting it made is a whole story on itself. And like where it comes from, do we want to let's dig into the book versus movie, and then we'll dig into the politics because that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't read the book, so you guys are on your own. Are there dragons?
You will know some of these stories.
I tried reading the book, but I hate the writing so much that I was just like, I can't do this stream of consciousness bullshit.
Yeah, here's the wild thing. Rereading it this week, I was like, this book moves along so incredibly fast. And she's like, yeah, you know how it works for you because you have ADHD.
Yeah.
It's the perfect book for
really
people
is.
with ADHD.
And when she said that, I think I was like almost like a quarter of the way through, and I was like, oh my God, she's right. Because like anybody who has what I have, you understand, like I'm not thinking about like doing the dishes or recording a podcast or doing something for TikTok or does Ace need new shoes? I saw some cool shit he might like. That's not popping in my head. When I'm reading that goofy book, it's not goofy. Oh my God. That book, I'm just in it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going along and it goes by so fast. People don't know this about me, but at one time I was a pretty fast speed reader. I could literally read a page. I read The Stand in like 2 days. This is when I was younger. I can't even focus on anything. And now when I was reading this, it was just like bum ba-dum ba-dum Gucci,
It doesn't let your mind
just keeps going on and on and on. And the way it's a paragraph with commas.
Yeah.
That's exactly how he writes. Now, as childish as that may be, I can see why any fucking crazy old guy like me is like, oh, this book is great. And then you get to the really extreme violence and pornography.
Yeah. The book might as well just be called like Unreliable Narrator, the story. Like, cause I mean, that's basically what he is. Even in the movie too, like, anytime like he's talking, you can't believe anything he says because, he's just saying like, when I do this, and he's just like, and you're like, do you do that? Because, he's talking about himself. He's just like, I'm this psychopath, blah, blah, and then like he sits down and somebody grabs his arm and is like, easy there, little buddy. And he's like, oh, you're not really the guy that you actually are. You think you're this way, but you're really just a huge loser.
He is. They mentioned that in the movie. I think Dave brought that up like a couple episodes ago when we were talking. It just came in. They touch upon that in the movie just enough, but in the book it's so obvious.
Yeah. And like even the way he talks about, like he goes on and on talking about like the music he likes, and even like referencing like Huey Lewis where he says like it was a little too urban or something like that, like
a little too black
or black. Yeah, like I'm just like, what? Like it's like he's so racist that he thinks like he couldn't even like listen to Huey Lewis in the news if it didn't sound extremely white or something like
right. Because whether you were around at the time, like my old ass was, original old Huey Lewis was very like, I don't know, like had like a rhythm and blues sound to it.
Yeah.
And then when you hit the Back to the Future, it's totally different. Yeah. It's as white as crackers. Yeah. Saltines.
Even so much where he's, the book has like whole chapters where he's talking about Phil Collins, like the whitest music ever made.
Yeah.
Like,
he has a chapter on Whitney Houston. He has a chapter on Phil Collins. He has a chapter on Huey Lewis in the news. He has a chapter on every single thing. He talks for an hour about his hair.
Yeah.
That's the most wild crap. And you can either skip over that or you can really get into it. I kind of did both when I was going through it here recently, but I was also in a hurry. But I'm like, oh my God, this guy's talking about this overnight bag that he's going to use to put Paul Allen's body in, even though it's called Paul Owen in the book. But I'm just like, holy crap.
I think Paul Allen sounds better. It like rolls off the tongue better when you say it.
Maybe. It's one of the weird things that they changed. Guinevere Turner is the writer. She's the co-writer with Mary Harmon, who's the director and the co-writer. Heron. And Harmon is a totally different person. and it's interesting. But that's one of the few things that I was like, why did they change that? Like everything else they changed, it makes sense, I guess, a little bit for time and pacing.
Well, in production for this movie, it just went through like director after director, and originally it was like Stuart Gordon, then David Cronenberg, then Rob Weiss, and then Oliver Stone, and then Leonardo. They wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to play.
He was going to basically change the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
So it just kept going through like sort of this developmental hell to get the movie made. And then they were just sort of like, fuck it, do you want to direct it?
They pretty much brought her on, and from the things that I've watched and read, I mean, they were kind of like, it's going to look better. And this is just my perspective. I never really said if we have a female writer and a female director to get this movie made and sold.
Yeah.
Well, and she said the only way that she would direct it was if she got to do the screenplay. Yeah. Her and her partner Guinevere.
Yeah.
And she's actually the one in the scene later on. He's an old friend of Patrick's, where she's like, I'm not in any mood for a lewd conversation, Patrick. and she's like the only person, and if you ever, and watching this, like in the kind of the book too, where it's like anytime he has to like come in contact with women in the story, like she's one of the only people in the movie who like calls him on his bullshit, where he's like, she's like going on, she's like, are you listening to Whitney Houston? Are you serious right now?
It's so good. Yeah, she's so demeaning. And like must have been his whole life.
And then like the two women he picks up and brings back to the apartment, like, you know, he's like, you don't want to know what I do for a living? And they're like, no,
not really.
No. We don't care.
We're getting paid $1,600 to be here.
He's like, well, and he just starts talking about himself. Like,
I'm on Wall Street. Pierce and Pierce.
And they're just like, cool, bro.
I love it. And a lot of those scenes they kept in the story, like they really gutted the fat out of this book, and there's so much, and they made it tasteful, which is really hard to do. If you've read the book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It goes, and Mary Heron talks about it in some of the documentaries that are on the disc. If you have the Blu-ray or the DVD, that they trying to adapt this was a lot easier than they thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think because
you have to gut so much anyway.
Yeah, you have to take out. I think they did a pretty good job, like making it book to movie, because it's really close. I mean, there's stuff in the book that is pretty much verbatim what he says in the movie.
Yeah, or the other characters.
And other characters too. And
the whole scene at Texarkana is hilarious when he and Paul Owen are in, and he's just like that's all those lines are in the movie.
Oh yeah.
By the way, there's no one here, and he's like, is that Ivana Trump over there? Of course, that's not Marcus. I mean Patrick or whatever. You know, he keeps messing up his lines.
Yeah.
But going back to like him talking about the book. Or us talking about the book and then the movie. The book is written at such an extreme. It's very Hunter S. Thompson. There's no way this is reality. Dave, you talked about, you think book makes it very plain and clear that it is
just from what I've read from people that have read the books. The book is sort of like, hey, this is not a delusion. The things are happening.
Yeah, and I think we'll get into that more later in the end.
Oh yeah, is this real?
Yeah.
Damn it, Stephen. Okay, cut all that out. All right, where were we?
Politics.
So they had the book versus movie, and then you have the part where they're like trying to they did so much. There's so much violence in the movie, but if you read the book, it's like it just goes on and on. And of course, it describes everything as a book does, but the things that he says, and he's not like a kind of a closet misogynist or kind of a closet bigot. Every other paragraph is the N word or the D word for women, or just like everybody, and I think he's trying to, like, the way I looked at it is he's trying to show a mirror onto what is around him.
Yeah. That, I think, and like one of the quotes, I think in one of the documentaries on the DVD I got, it's like, I can't remember if it was Mary Herron or Christian Bale that said this, but it was like, he said the book is a savage portrait of male behavior at its worst, where it says he doesn't think the movie promotes it, as it holds up a mirror up to it and let you be the judge of it.
Yeah. See, I thought the cars blowing up was believable. If I've seen an 80s movie, I know in the 1980s they couldn't make a car that wouldn't just blow up on impact.
80s bullets, baby.
That's for me. That's why I know that it's like where I'm on the thing where I like, it's not, none of this is happening. Like even in his fantasy where he shoots a one bullet at a car and it blows up, he looks at the gun like, I can't believe it just did that.
So if you listen to the comment, if you listen to the commentary, Mary makes that comment. She's like, it's so unbelievable what he's doing. This is the end when he's like lost his mind. It's a slightly different in the book. There are slight differences that they changed. I don't know, either for good or bad. For that scene, it's almost just like in the book. Yeah. Where like the helicopters come and all that. But he blows up a cop car and he looks at his gun like, what the fuck? And in the commentary, she's like, see, even he's starting to realize how much this doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah, he's psycho. It's in the title.
He's the psycho.
And that is also in the words. It's just like, is this like his journal? Because he journals constantly when he's at work. So is all this just being written down and he's living in a fantasy world?
Yeah.
That will be at the end. Yeah, that'll all be at the end. I don't know why you keep going back. Because it's so easy to get to, is this real or not? The main murders are slightly changed. One, there's no chainsaw. No. Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed. But holy crap, does he even get more worse with the first two prostitutes that he gets into his apartment, which is actually his apartment. And then the second one is actually supposed to be in Paul Allen's apartment, which it's kind of alluded to in the movie, but in the book it's obvious, like he's trying to make this happen. And then he talks about that he rents an apartment to do stuff in too.
Yeah.
So it gets kind of confusing when you're watching the movie now that I know what I'm doing, like, and they don't explain like this is Paul Allen's apartment until later on.
Yeah. They kind of cover a few bases when he's doing in the movie when he's like leaving the message on the phone. There's a lot of stuff he like kind of glosses over there that he did. They cover in the book, like the guy in the park and then some other stuff. But he kind of says into there. But like there's whole parts of the book where they explain that more than just a telephone message at the end of the movie.
I just think it's crazy that they had to tone down the violence that's in the book for the movie, because usually it's the exact opposite. When they're making a movie, they're like, oh, we need more blood or gore or just more action. And this is not the case at all. It's like, okay, maybe we can't burn her eyeballs on screen until they pop.
Holy crap. I mean, that's in the book. That's what he does to one of the extremities that he goes through with the prostitutes. And even if you like dogs, do not read this book.
No.
Forget the movie. And he does injure a dog in the movie at the very beginning, towards the beginning of the film, and it's awful. And it's one of those things I just kind of forget until I watched it last night, and I was like, holy crap. So I got to that part in the book, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Where he adopts dogs to unalive them.
Yeah.
He's got this huge fetish. I'm like, oh my, it's so graphic.
You think they'd stop him after a while and be like, hey, how are the other 16 dogs you
It's the 80s.
Oh, yeah, they didn't have a registration. That's right.
And that goes to the unreality of everything about this book. And I think that's why I kind of combined it, the whole Hunter S. Thompson, he's a Louisville boy, of course. But like if you read his books, it's just a complete fantasy, but there's a basis of reality.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what he was going for. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know. I haven't read his other books, and I know that you have.
Yeah,
so how does he compare to like his narrative, like in those books, to this? Like are the characters the same? Is it just like a lavish, crazy fantasy?
Well,
I've seen Less Than Zero, but I haven't read it.
Less Than Zero is way different than the book. It's like the basic stories there, but a lot of stuff happens.
That was the first book to get him in trouble.
Yeah, he wrote that when he was like in college or something. That's how. And then the second, like the Rules of Attraction, which is his brother Sean Bateman in college. All these take place in the same universe, but it's Sean Bateman. He's in college, and there's like a whole chapter in that book that is like their friend goes on a vacation to Europe, and they do it in the movie where, if you ever see the Rules of Attraction movie, where it's like his friend Victor goes on a vacation to Europe, and they do the whole vacation. Like he's just like, I went to this country, then I went to this, then I did drugs, and then I met this girl in this place, and then we hooked up, and then we went to this DJ, and blah, blah, blah. And it goes on like that.
Yeah.
For like probably 20 pages of just one run-on sentence.
Oh, so it's this
of
style.
Just like him talking about drugs he did and girls he had sex with in Europe and blah, blah, blah. And then it just ends.
So instead of a ghostwriter, he's got like a speaking spell.
It's pretty wild.
O-O-D.
But
I need to crank out another fucking chapter. Let's do a line of coke and just start talking.
I mean, that was his method for writing.
That's, you can tell in this book and this movie is a fever dream. And it moves such a brisk pace. How they were able to write some of those, like those long-winded paragraphs and put them into scenes while you're still going, like the narrative, the exposition. It's so smooth when it comes to for the movie.
Yeah,
because you could sit there and how would you construct in him in his head, besides the beginning where he's pulling off the mask and talking about his daily routine? Like, how else are you going to make this movie make it work? Because every scene, every chapter is like that. Even when he's killing people in the most extreme way, it's extremely, like, I don't know how to say it, like delicately written, I guess. I don't know how else would you describe that? Like his way of writing, Katie.
I mean, you don't want to know how I would describe his style of writing.
No, I do terrible. Because and you know, exactly.
Just stream of consciousness.
It's comic book. But not even like good.
It's written like a young boy because he was young when he wrote it. I mean, he was 21 when he wrote Less Than Zero, his first book. Well, actually, he started it in high school. It was published when he was 21. And then he did American Psycho just a few years later.
Which people didn't want to publish. It took him a while to find a publisher for this book.
It got, I think it was Simon & Schuster that was originally supposed to publish it. And they, after some women's groups protested, they dropped it and it got picked up by somebody else.
This says Vintage Contemporaries. You know, the well-known one. Yeah.
No,
first edition, 1991. Vintage Contemporaries. You know, the big publisher.
Yeah. So the way he writes like that, that's probably why I enjoyed it so much as a kid, because I was a kid reading a book that basically a kid wrote. So reading that when you're like a teenager, it probably comes off like, oh, this is easy to read. It's like, it's kind of like for me too, where this movie goes on the Mount Rushmore of movies that dude bros miss the point of.
Yeah. Fight Club, like
Fight Club, and like the way Chuck Palahniuk writes and kind of the way he writes kind of goes hand in hand. Like they're kind of the same way, and it's like, it's definitely those movies where people are like, man, I love Fight Club. Like, it's like if you go over to a guy's house on on a first date and he has like a Fight Club and an American Psycho poster on the wall, you should just turn around and walk out.
Check your drink and then leave. Yeah,
it's like, that dude, he's just like, woo.
And I love both those movies.
What's that John Waters said? If you go to somebody's house and they don't have any books, don't fuck them.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. If you don't own books, like, get out of here, dude. Like, just leave.
I will say somebody that I will not name that I was in a relationship with for a long time had one book, and it was American Psycho.
Oh, and they loved it.
I thought you were going to say it was the Bible.
This was his Bible.
Just as bad.
We would have not been together for very long if that.
Here's the thing. You guys were together for a long time, so what's that say about you?
Right?
Delusional.
Yeah.
And
I could fix him.
Yeah, and the thing about the movie and the book is that everything that's important is in the movie and how they made it so good. And we didn't even talk about Christian Bale, for Christ's sake. Like, the guy who holds it all together. And like you brought up Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah. Did you know anything about that? Like the process that he was going to do with this movie?
No, it would have been awful.
It would have been terrible. It sounded like he was trying to like pull a rock with the DC universe kind of like thing.
Yeah.
No.
He also looked way like he's supposed to be 27 years old in this movie. Child. But when Leonardo DiCaprio and when they would have filmed this in like 99, he looked like a 14-year-old kid.
Yeah, he's like Basketball Diaries version.
And he probably was like 25, but he looked like a little kid forever.
Yeah.
It's just recently that he looks like an adult and he's like 50 now.
He went from a little boy, now he looks like Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And he did a lot of roles at the time, and I still really didn't pay attention to him. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, don't you remember the Steven Spielberg movie?" No.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
He had just done Titanic.
I'm talking about Christian Bale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, Leonardo DiCaprio. I loved Leonardo DiCaprio since I was young. Didn't know who the hell he was in some television show with Kirk Cameron or whatever the hell his name was.
Yeah, Christian Bale was in Empire of the Sun.
That's the Steven Spielberg movie. I never saw it.
I probably saw a preview of that, and I was like, I have absolutely no interest in watching this movie.
And he was in Newsies.
Yeah, Newsies.
He was a newsie.
Yeah. But
I mean, the little paperboy had Steve's hat.
Yeah, he did. And then he did like Shaft, and and he started doing like more movies like Ick versus Seven or whatever, that awful like rip-off Matrix movie he did.
Oh God.
With Antonio Banderas, I guess.
That's two
I'm thinking of Assassins.
I'm thinking of X versus Sever, which is a terrible movie.
That's the one though. He's
not in that.
He's not in that.
No, he's in
Equilibrium.
Equilibrium.
Gun Fu.
Oh my
God. Dude,
I
thought I haven't watched Equilibrium in a long time, but the first time I saw it, I thought I was like, this is good.
Okay, that's it. I was getting them confused.
Equilibrium. And he was in a movie with dragons, Rain of Fire.
You would have read that book.
I would have read that book.
That movie rules.
Matthew McConaughey's from Kentucky in it.
Matthew McConaughey.
I mean, he's a really good actor. He's very method, so I'm surprised he didn't actually kill somebody for this movie.
He talked in an American accent throughout the movie so much that people didn't know he was British or Welsh or whatever. But and even in the interviews he's doing on the DVD where he's in costume, he's talking with an American accent, and they're not even there, and they're just filming an interview.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, and then when you see one later on after he's already they've wrapped, and it's obviously he has like a beard and stuff. And they're interviewing him. I was like, this guy's British. What? I was like, I had no idea.
You felt like he just caught a spy or something. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, man, that's wild.
This role could easily be just fallen into somebody's hands who didn't understand what, at least what Mary and Guinevere were trying to do. Yeah. And if you watch interviews with them, they knew exactly what their message was going to be, which is this is a awful, like, let's blade into the politics of like misogynistic, fucking anti-feminist work of art that we're going to change, and let you see how we actually saw the book. They saw the book as a feminist book.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what book did you read? Yeah. But that goes to the whole politics of this book, and I guess we should just dig in. Katie, you can start off if you want to. I see the fumes coming off. The flames on the side of my head.
I just really dislike Bret Easton Ellis as a writer and as a person. So
don't hold back.
It's
there.
hard for
no disrespect, but fuck that guy.
Yeah, seriously.
Let's see your business card. I bet it's not as good.
Zip bone.
Cillian Rail.
Cillian Rail.
No, he just said, like, literally every interview I read in doing research for the podcast, the interviewer talks about how much this dude just sucks and how they don't like spending time with him. There was a interview in The Guardian from like 2010, and the interviewer said, "This is the most disingenuous person I've ever met."
Jesus Christ.
I feel like he does that on purpose to go out of his way just to be like a complete ass to people.
Yes.
What if he's like the Jim Carrey of back then, eh? How Jim Carrey is now. He's like when he goes to award shows and he's like, this is garbage.
But he's also just like a spoiled rich kid, because I mean, basically that's what he writes about are spoiled rich people.
Yeah. He grew up in LA, went to a very wealthy private school, had a like very privileged upbringing. So the fact that he, in a lot of his books, is trying to like lambast the hoi polloi.
That's what he says.
Yeah. I'm like, it's not. You're jerking off all of these rich people that you grew up being around, and like, oh, aren't they terrible? But also, isn't it cool? And don't you want to be a part of their world?
That's
and how exclusive it is.
That's exactly how it comes off to me reading it like this. And I was like, wow, everything that, like, it's like watching Talladega Nights. It's like the wrong people think this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're making fun of you. Are they though? I don't know. Not this one. I think it feeds to whomever wants to. You bring to it what you have already inside of you.
Yeah, because like I was at a Halloween party in probably around 2000, like maybe 9.
Every white dude's got a raincoat,
and there was a guy in a raincoat and a suit underneath, and brought a fake axe and made business cards, and he was dressed up like that for Halloween. And I was like, and that was just so you missed that part of the movie. Like, I mean, you could dress up like that and be like, yeah, but he was legitimately like, people think like he's cool, like Patrick Bateman's so cool. Like, no, he's not.
Oh yeah,
it's like you watch Taxi Driver, you think Robert De Niro's cool in that movie too, and you're like, no. He's a loser, dude.
He's a loser monster, but people doesn't get his comeuppance.
Yeah, like, which
also happens in this fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean they kind of go hand in hand. It's and you're like watching. It's like people that watch the movie and just completely miss everything. I'm like, did you watch the same movie I did, or did you watch the cable version or something? Like,
I mean, not to throw Steve under the bus here, but our very first Halloween together back in 2008, you ended up having to work that night, so we didn't get to go to the party. But the plan was you were going to be Patrick Bateman, and I was going to wear like my mink coat and be Evelyn.
Yeah,
that would have been pretty cool.
Should have role reversal. Steve, you're the hooker.
That would have been fucking great. But like the one from the book where it's just so, oh my God. But go ahead. Yeah, the politics of this movie.
Yeah.
So the politics, what I wrote down is this a feminist book, movie? Or is it a satire? Where are we going with this? Where do you think?
See, I didn't get that at all, but maybe I just didn't watch it.
And that's a great perspective.
Mindset. I don't know.
I mean, to you, it's just, I put a movie in while I watch it.
Yeah. The dude's a piece of shit. He fucking murders people. Is he crazy? Maybe. Yeah, he's a psycho.
Well, one thing you notice if you watch it is that every time he's with another woman, like by themselves, like he goes on a date, he takes that girl out on a date to the restaurant that's not Dorsia, it's Bacardia.
Yeah.
And he gets her like super messed up. She's like hammered on pills. She doesn't even know where she is. And like, it's like a running theme. So like, then he picks up the woman on the street, brings her back to his place, puts a little stuff in her drink, gets the other girl. He gets them all messed up. Like he's constantly like drugging women that he's with because like, once again, he's such a loser that he has to drug women to get him to like show any interest in him at all. So,
I mean, all of his interactions with women are transactional.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Even Evelyn.
Well, and even Jean, his secretary.
Yeah, that's such a sad combination.
It's so sad because she obviously loves him, and he just shits on her. He's like, "You need to wear high heels. Don't wear that outfit again.
You're prettier than that."
Yeah, you're prettier, which is such a backhanded compliment. Like, you absolute asshole. Don't tell me how to dress. You're my boss.
And she's walking on eggshells, but she wants him to put the eggshells on the floor. That's how I looked at that relationship. Like she will do anything for him.
Yeah.
And all she does half the time is just make freaking reservations.
Well, and then you see they go on like a quote unquote date later, and she is wearing like the little mini dress.
She looks exactly like she wants him to, thinks that he should.
Yeah. And it's because he doesn't see women as people. He sees them as accessories or like a look how cool I look next to this thing.
Oh, you mean the 80s?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Think about this. It's such an easy thing. And while you're reading the book of him drugging women, that you know that he knows, and that's how it is. It's just, I mean, you were talking about Bill Cosby. I mean, that's what they were doing all the time.
Yeah.
It's just, she was fell asleep. Oh, I don't even want to get into that.
And plus all the stuff with him and women, and like he's with his wife, his fiance, whatever, that he has no interest in.
Courtney's Samantha Mathis, and she's awesome.
Yeah.
Pump up the volume, baby.
That's always the thing. Like every time it's like, pump up the volume. But like whenever they're in the car together and she's going on some big rant about their wedding and doing this, and he's like literally just listening to a tape he's listening to Simply Irresistible in the cab, like with headphones on, just not even listening to her. And then like she says like, why don't you just quit the company? Your dad practically owns the place anyways. And he goes like, I just want to fit in, which is basically the entire materialism thing of this movie is just literally everything he does is just to fit in.
He's a narcissist.
Yeah. Like,
oh my God, to the nth degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I love Evelyn's character so much, because she's the only other person in the book or the movie.
Besides like Elizabeth, who we were talking about earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. But even then, like they don't have a close relationship.
There's no friendship.
No. But with Evelyn, it's also their relationship is transactional too. She's the only one that treats him like he treats everybody else, where they don't love each other. She's just like, okay, he's the son of this important person at a company. He fits the look of what I am supposed to marry. And she's just focused on the wedding and the holiday party.
Yeah, we should do it, Patrick. What? Get married. Like they're just driving to the next restaurant.
Yeah. Plus like one of my favorite lines in the whole movie is whenever they walk in and he's like, you think that it's like something as horrible has happened to him, but then like he's like, and then a wave of something comes over me.
It's about reservations.
It's about the reservations to the restaurant or whatever they go.
That's in the book too. It's so good. Wave.
He thought they were going to get a bad table.
Yeah.
Yes.
Table.
My God.
And it washes over me.
All of those characters, and they're trying to like dissect like the classism in that book with even in the movie. Just it's barely touched on in the movie, but in the book it's just there with the cousin and the boyfriend and all that.
Yeah.
That they're at the restaurant and he's going over apartheid and all this is like, and they're all like, What the most people who knew her in clothes are like pricing them. They're just like, shut the fuck up.
They're all
trying
just
to fuck your
him.
fiance.
And it's all the kind of stuff you would say back then if you were just trying to look like a person who cares.
Yeah.
Even though you really don't. Like you don't
goes into the character.
But he's like, well, these are all the things that I should care about, so I should go on a big rant and be like, traditional American values and all this like bull crap.
It's like, all right, Reagan, calm down.
He's riding the line between, because of some of the things he says is very liberal and some of the things he says is very Republican, and that's exactly what these are just clickbait bullshit things that he's seen in the New York Times being like, I should say this at dinner, and they'll be like, wow, Dave,
no,
you're amazing. And they're all just like, shut the fuck up.
Everything about him is surface level.
It's so bad. And this, I read something down because I wanted to remember, because we talked about it last night about it. And I was like, if a misogynistic writes a book about a misogynistic feminist and the racist man saying the most crazy underbelly shit of the American white businessmen, is this book a feminist book?
No.
Because that's the argument that even people who are fans of the book, men and women, even the director and the writer, are like, we see it as this. But because he's shoving, like we talked about just barely earlier, how bad it really is, and the slurs and just a constant barrage of just demeaning people constantly, to the point where you're like, but he's also saying, but this is my viewpoint, and you should hate it.
I think
it's really complicated if you want to make it complicated, I guess.
I think there's like one scene in the movie that like really shows like, because he's doing all this fake stuff. When he's by himself, he goes to the cleaners and he has like, he's like
in the book
screaming at that woman at the cleaners about his sheets. I gotta get these in Santa Fe. And he's like, I can't understand this bitching. Whenever he's got the cigar.
Did you just say bleaching?
And then
bleaching.
The woman who knows him walks in. And he immediately is like, oh God, I have to like.
They live in the same building.
He's like, I have to turn it off. And then like come this other person all of a sudden to where he's like, oh, yeah, sure. I have to go uptown, blah, 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 or whatever.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. They're cranberry.
Yeah. Cran apple.
Yeah, he says both, actually. He's like, cranberry, cran apple. And she's like, what are those? It's like, what the hell, dude?
But I think that's like one scene in the movie where he kind of like, there's like the real him, and then he has to like flip a switch and turn it back on to being like, oh, I'm this fake person who actually cares about,
That's what psychopaths do.
Yeah. What crazy, if you're a psycho from America.
But is Bret Easton Ellis saying is so awful, or is he saying this is like, we all have these thoughts, we all have these terrible thoughts, but we have to put on, a mask to be in everyday life so we're accepted by people?
Yeah.
I don't know that he is. I think he's just saying this is how everybody is, like everybody, and he does. I've seen quotes from him saying like every man is a misogynist, which, I mean, I kind of agree.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
It's from a man's perspective, it is harder to be a good person than just say, fuck everybody, I don't care about your feelings, or I don't care about, that's the easy way. It's the dark side. It's so much easier and faster and more powerful, and you can whatever. It takes effort to be a good father. It takes effort to be a good person, to be a good partner, to be a good friend. That's effort.
Way to cut off Katie, Steve.
Yeah.
You were talking? Yeah. I'm sorry. Keep going.
See?
Yeah, tell me more about misogyny.
I don't know. Carry on.
Mansplain it, please.
Now I forget what I was saying.
It's okay.
No, go ahead.
No, I don't. God damn it. Oh, about how he was saying, every man is a misogynist. So does that make what I'm writing a misogynist work? He didn't agree with that. He didn't think that necessarily makes it a non-feminist book. But then I feel like maybe he should have taken more strides to not be so misogynist. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that means a lot more to me, at least, because of the movies that I know that you like, and we've talked about it many times in the podcast. You love grueling, horrible films when it comes to women being hurt and then getting like their comeuppance, and it's like, for you to be like, this is not okay. None of this is okay. That changes my perspective on a lot of this.
But it's also just my perspective, and I know
I value your perspective.
But there are also a lot of women who hate the kinds of movies that I enjoy and find value in, and so there could definitely be women that look at this movie and say that it is a feminist movie or it is a feminist book, and that's respectable.
But those women wouldn't be agreeing with you in either way. And then you're saying like you're such a far on the perspective of like being more forgiving and trying to see it from a different perspective, that the people that you're talking about don't even want to have that perspective of it on any kind of art. So it's also, it's a very complicated thing. Intention
is a really huge thing for me when it comes to art.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ellis had good intentions.
Right. How about the movie?
Had good cocaine.
He had very good cocaine.
He had the good fluffy stuff. So when it comes to the movie, how do you feel?
I love this movie. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But do I think that, like you all have said, too many people, men especially, have missed the mark on this? And do I think that's damaging? Yes.
Yeah. But I could also say that about Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, which I think is an amazing piece of art too.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people, more people have seen this movie than Henry Portrait of a Serial
You're right.
Killer.
When it comes to the masses and how much more widespread it can be, and it gets to even people that really shouldn't be watching this movie.
Well, it's like Rob Zombie fans like watch any any of his movies, and they're like, man, aren't they so cool? Like,
yeah.
And so the Firefly family got killed in that shootout by the cops, man. But I wish they all lived, and then they did somehow in another sequel they made. But I was like, people for watching The Devil's Rejects, and they all get killed, and it's like the same kind of people watch that, and they're like, oh, I'm bummed that Otis and all of them got killed by the cops. Like, you are? Like, they just see all the horrible, vile stuff they did. You're like, yeah, but they were playing Leonard Skinner, dude.
Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the part that bummed me out. I didn't need to hear the whole Freebird song at the end. They're like, fuck it, we paid for it. We're playing the whole thing.
But it's like those kind of people kind of miss the point on these things.
But I mean, it's all perspective too. It's all in the eye of the beholder. You can look at one thing. People are arguing on the internet if a fucking dress was green or blue or whatever the fuck. Like, this is how I see it. This is how you see it. It's like, oh my God, it's an analogy for everything. We're going to argue over something fucking inconsequential that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of stuff I missed watching this as a teenager, obviously, because I would watch this and he's going on the rant talking about apartheid, and I was like, "What's apartheid?" I didn't even know what that was when I was like 15. Yeah, public education.
So,
but like
further education.
Yeah, but I would watch that, and then like the whole scene where he's like in the club and the girl's like, "We don't take these anymore." He's ordering the drink and he's like Stoli. He has to order like the name brand, but like, and she's, "We don't take these anymore." And like, I never realized why he got so mad about that. It's basically because the bartender's like shaming him at this bar, and he's like, I can't believe this girl like owns him at the bar because he's like this rich yuppie, and she's like, "We don't take these tickets anymore. It's a cash bar." Yeah, and he has to like, he gets like embarrassed so much that he's like looking in the mirror and like thinking like, I'm going to murder you because you've like ashamed me in this bar and like made me look bad.
Yeah. In the book, it's barely touched on in the movie, but in the book, it's because he's such a perfectionist that he should have known the tickets are only good up till 11 p.m.
Yeah.
After 11 p.m., it's a cash bar. So they go right to it's a cash bar. Cause I was like, why would he bring the tickets to this thing? And then not in himself, cause I understand like not liking yourself. He gets so angry that he, instead of like how I, go in, he goes out.
Yeah.
He just wants to hurt other people. And I'm like, I get mad. I'm like, you idiot or whatever. And Patrick's just like, I want to kill you and play with your blood.
Yeah.
And he screams at her in a loud bar.
Yeah. And then like in the way and like,
how dare you?
And then when he's at the restaurant with like Paul Allen in the movie, he like walks in there and like he's berating the server at the table about,
oh God, they both are.
His place is basically empty, and like he sees him doing that when he walks in, so he immediately sits down and starts doing the exact same thing that he's doing to like fit in better, and like, well, if he's gonna do this, I need to do it too. So he's like, not if you want to keep your spleen, all that kind of stuff. I think is funny, and like I laugh at it, and like I think this movie's meant to be a like dark comedy.
Oh yeah,
and I think. And like really, I mean, that's why I like watching it so much. It's just because it's like it's up there like with Tombstone. It's like as far as like quotable movies and stuff that I still.
I thought you were saying Tombstone was a dark comedy.
No. As far as like,
shit, dude, I just need to go back and rewatch everything.
As far as like movies
I've been lied to,
movies that I quote constantly, which is probably this saying, like 8:30 res at Dorsia, sweet sea urchin ceviche, stuff like that. I was like still to this day say that. But but like it was all that kind of stuff I just kind of missed, and then later on, becoming more of a well-read person, I would think that I'd like start picking up more on stuff in movies, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, he really sucks. And it's like the same thing, like I said earlier with Taxi Driver. Like the first time you watch that, I was like a teenager, and I was like, oh man, he like kills those people at the end. That's cool, man. And then saw it as a 38-year-old, and I was like, oh man, he's such a loser in this.
He's such a bigot. He's like, everything that Patrick Bateman is.
And Patrick Bateman in this, he's just like, you're like, God, he's such a racist, bigoted, like just everything you hate about somebody. And his like, he just like obsesses over Donald Trump in the book, and stuff like that. And you're just like, yeah,
he obsesses Tom Cruise because they live in the same building.
Which basically, he like Christian Bale said he like saw an interview with Tom Cruise on David Letterman and said he based the character on that. Because he would like Tom Cruise that was doing this weird interview where it's like he's like laughing on the outside, but you can see like inside it's like there's just like cold dead eyes. Like,
oh yeah, he's an alien.
Yeah, where he's just like, so he based it, and he's like, I don't know if anybody's ever found that David Letterman episode. Did you? And he's just like, you can tell it's like, man, there's like
he's doing the Cruise huge smile.
Yeah, it's weird,
and there's nothing behind his eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
If you've worked retail at all, you know that look.
Wow!
you've had to put that look on yourself. You gotta watch out for
Dave and Katie here.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely don't give that look at my job.
Black Friday, you're just like, I'm so happy to be here helping you and not at home with my family.
It was a pleasure to help you pick this out today. I don't want to kill myself.
Yeah, so pretty much you turn into Patrick Bateman if you're in retail. That's fine. It's totally relatable.
But I like that you brought up
one for reality.
Jesus Christ. But this is dark. It's a dark episode. But I like that you brought up Taxi Driver because if you pick these two characters, it's just classism that separates them. They would have been best friends.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's like
fake politics, fake music. He doesn't understand what art is. He takes
her to a porno.
He doesn't understand. And in the movie, Patrick watches porno if he's going to have sex, and he watches the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Body Double, which he rented 37 times in the book.
Yeah.
Before he goes on a killing spree.
Is Ace Patrick Bateman?
Yes. You knew where I was going to go with that, didn't you? So I guess we could, is this real? Now, Dave's only seen the movie, so your perspective is?
My perspective, all right, so in the movie, like it leaves it very open-ended and basically says that, you know, oh, this may not be real because he's got his confession. They're like, what are you talking about? I just had dinner with him 2 days ago. And is that his lawyer trying to be slick? Like, oh no, don't worry about it. You know, things that happen, like the apartment got cleaned because they were going to sell it. So all these coincidental things. And like, how do you not know that this dude is fucking murdering people? I get it's the 80s. I understand that.
Yeah.
We didn't have CSI then. We just had good old Gumshoe.
Yeah, no, that's a great, because when he meets the realtor in the book and even in the movie, it's kind of similar because she is, you don't really know, and you kind of have an idea that that's actually Paul Allen's apartment. He's trying to use Paul Allen's apartment when he kills the last two women.
Right.
Yeah.
And make it, have an alibi, because if Paul Allen did it, it wasn't me. And I was, Paul Allen's back in town. And in the book, he actually takes their blood and writes, "I'm back" on the wall.
Yeah,
as Paul Allen, but it's so over the top and so crazy, and everyone looks the same, and everyone always they think they see somebody, and everyone's, oh, it's Halberstram. It's not. And when he says, I've seen Paul Allen in London, and somebody else confirms it, it's because all these dorks look the same
at the beginning of the movie.
Constantly,
when he points out Paul Allen at the beginning of the movie, it's not even Jared Leto.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying about the movie too.
It's great. No, I like that. I'm agreeing. Yeah.
Like they everything is so it. It gets crazy at the end, like shoots the car.
Oh,
blows
God,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's obviously they're saying like this dude's fucking crazy. Were these people in his room? Was he just talking about Huey Lewis by himself? How did
yes,
just to himself, like
Fight Club,
something like Fight Club. How did nobody in the apartment building hear the fucking chainsaw? Like
he did use a chainsaw to cut somebody in half. He didn't use them to chase him down the hallway and drop it on somebody, which was a bummer.
Right. How would you not hear that? Like in an apartment. I've lived in an apartment complex.
I know.
She's beating on the doors in that scene.
Right.
Yeah,
and nobody says
anything. Nobody.
And so, either it's he's crazy and he's sort of making all this up in his head, and he really is just psycho to the point where he doesn't tell what's reality and what's not. Or he did it and he's fucking rich, so who cares? Yeah. Is that the point that they're trying to make? And
would the realtor cover up everything just to get that apartment sold to the next people? Because she is chilling.
Right. And that was one of the things that...
You should go now.
That
I just think that I was just under the impression that she's like... you're just like, you shouldn't be in here. And she tricks him into saying like, do you see in the Times? He goes, yeah, the Times.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, it wasn't in one of the Times.
There was an interview with Mary Herron where she was talking about like, I didn't make it, because she said that's one of the things people ask her all the time is, was it real? Was it all in his head? And she says, yes, it's real. It was real, but she didn't make it as clear as she could have in the movie as opposed to the book. Now, again, granted, I haven't read the book. I've only seen like, excerpts and stuff like that and synopsis, but it seems like it's supposed to have really happened. And these are things that are real that happened, but he's just embellishing them in his head for some reason.
Yeah, the way I said, I just finished it. The way the book reads to me is that it is not real, because everything that happens at the end of this movie kind of happens in the book, but it's much more just like everything else. It's way more crazy. The amount of people he murders in the ending of the ending of the book. Where he confuses one building for another. It's touched upon in the movie, where he just goes from one office building to the other office building. It's because he's moved his office and they all look the same. Everybody looks the same. The security guards look the same. So everything could be cleaned up, because it's also Wall Street, and we crime's not so bad downtown right now. There's a whole thing. And then when it comes to the realtor, it's so chilling to me, because he walks in and I think at first she feels like, oh shit, does he know what happened here? And then she looks down and sees the mask and knows that he's there for a reason. And then her whole look, because I rewound that scene many times, goes from, oh shit, to, oh, I'm the bad guy, by the way, to him. And she's like, no, you need to leave. And it's like, it's how chilling. Like, what kind of army of people does she have to clean up like all the bodies in that apartment? I'm like, oh, Patrick Bateman. I'm like, oh shit.
She doesn't need
I do need to leave.
She's got Harvey Keitel.
Yeah. The Wolf. That's funny, because her name is Miss Wolf in the book.
I just think like everything gets so like halfway through the movie, after he kills like Paul Allen, like he's dragging the body through the hallway with a giant trail of blood behind him.
Even in the movie, yeah.
And it's like there's no, like, obviously that's not happening, because like he didn't kill Paul Allen. He's dragging his body through the hallway with a giant trail of blood, and then his friend Lewis walks up on them in the street and who's like, oh, what about that overnight bag? And he's like, Jean-Paul Gaultier.
That's right.
It's
Where did you get that?
But like, and people see him doing it, and they're just like, and that's why I was like, every time I watched this, for just straight up in the movie, not the book, but like, I don't think he did any of this shit. Maybe the guy in the alley, because nobody was around. That's like the only one in the movie where you're like, you probably could have got away with that one.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's the hardest one to watch.
But like all the other people, like,
I'm serious. You could, in the 80s, you could have gone to another fucking state, just drove there. You didn't have a phone tracking. You can just fucking shoot somebody in an alley and then leave and just come
somebody
home.
Right? Just Batman parents somebody in the
Jesus. Crime alley, throw some pearls on the ground and run
Bateman.
away.
He played Batman.
Oh shit! It all makes sense.
Oh no! Batman is Bateman.
But I wrote out a whole thing. I was like, I said, I don't think he did any of this. I said, in reality, he's a forgettable loser whose own friends don't even remember or respect him, because every time like something happens, like I said earlier, like when he's like, he sees he's getting a little touch, he's like, easy little buddy. Like that's how they say
Josh
him.
Lucas is,
And he's like, get your hands off me. And they're like, or anytime he does anything, like he's just like, even the lawyer is like, doesn't even like recognize him and calls Patrick Bateman like a spineless loser. And like he like creates all these scenarios in his head thinking he's this like serial killer, like have some kind of life where he's like not some boring Wall Street dude who doesn't actually work, but he's employed by his own father at a company he does nothing at.
Yeah, he does
like,
nothing.
He's just a giant loser. So like, and like he obviously has like some kind of like OCD with all his little like routines and stuff that
makes him who he is,
and then, like,
which is nothing.
He's doing all these things, but like he's like having a breakdown, and then like his fantasy comes crashing down at the end of the movie when it's like the ATMs tell him to feed him a cat. He shoots and blows up a cop car with one single bullet, and like all these cops see him, and like nothing happens to him. They just like go out. He's out the next day. Like
he kills door guys at 2 different buildings.
Kills the door guy. Like then like, and it's all on camera. There was probably like at least a closed caption or a closed circuit television camera at the door guy's desk, but I don't think he did any of this stuff. And then plus whenever he's like talking to the lawyer, and the lawyer even says like, I had my dinner with him 2 times in London. And then even the detective comes in there earlier and says, somebody else said they may have seen him in London, but then his wife, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think what makes him a psycho is that he's like, all these weird, he's doing all these scenarios in his head, like the OCD, all the little stuff. Like he's just such a, plus all the, like the 80s, like yuppie culture stuff that he's obsessed with, all that stuff. I don't know. I think that's the part that makes him a psycho, and not so much that he's like a serial killer or whatever.
Yeah. When she finds his little notebook at work, Chloe does, and Jean as the character, and then she opens up and it just becomes more and more deranged and unhinged. I think that's his psyche. It's breaking down because you see it's a calendar, and then the next few things is like a calendar and a knife, and a calendar and this girl, and a calendar, and it gets worse and worse, and it's just splash pages, literally, of violence on this notepad, and because he has nothing else to do with his life. Yeah. But here's the weird thing when it comes to either the book or even the movie. He still is the one who put the recording on Paul Allen's recorder, because even Willem Dafoe talks about it. He's like, yeah, but we're not really sure. There's little things that actually happened that blur the line of like, when did it? Or like just pieces of it, and he's just embellishing it to the point where it's like fantasy.
I've always taken it as the movie starts out as Patrick Bateman's fantasy. Yeah. Like it's just in his mind, and he's fantasizing about what he would be if he could be, exactly who he is, and not just some loser that nobody likes. But then as it goes on, he starts kind of acting out these fantasies in little bits, and he starts unraveling.
Just enough, but he can't finish them.
Yeah. And so then people are like, what the fuck? Like, he's like, calm down, little buddy. Like, where is this coming from? So it starts off just in his head, and then when he starts trying to like kind of enact it, he just loses his mind.
That's really good. I've never heard that perspective. Like, he actually did go to dinner with Paul Allen, and he fantasized about finishing him off at his apartment, but that never happened.
Yeah, there's there are blurred lines.
I never even seen. That's an interesting way to look at it.
They film it that way on purpose. Cause like the stuff they did with like Donald Kimball, like the detective, like they filmed him three different ways. Yeah. Like one where he thinks he did it, one where he doesn't know if he did it, and one where he knows he did it. And they filmed it, and then they edit that in there, like different edits from different cuts of him. So every time you watch him doing it, you're like, does he know if he does? Like, because you think maybe he does know he does it, like, and stuff like that. And then even at the beginning of the movie, they set it up where like you see little drops come down, and it looks like blood, and then it turns into like
nothing is as it's like on David Lynch. Seems, nothing is as it's seen. What you're getting ready to see, you won't even know. That's a really good perspective here, and I love the Willem Dafoe scene because he's like, wait, don't you know all this? He's like, yeah, I just want to know if you know.
Yeah,
it's so good. So many good things. God damn, this movie's awesome.
It's very deep. But I mean, you just go straight to the sequel, and the sequel tells you that it's real. Come back.
Yeah, if you go to the
sequel, if you go to the sequel, Mila Kunis's character kills Patrick Bateman because
that'd be kind of cool.
Well, no, and in the sequel, it starts out like Mila Kunis is with her babysitter, and her babysitter takes her to go on a date with Patrick Bateman.
Yeah,
and then she gets killed, and then she kills Patrick Bateman, thus making her the American Psycho.
The American Psycho,
like Highlander. So she quickened, and then later on. She becomes a killer. Yeah, that movie's a fucking trash heap. It wasn't supposed to be American Psycho. It was what was it originally called? The Girl Who Wouldn't Die. And then Bret Easton Ellis, they got him involved when they were halfway.
He wrote the screenplay?
Oh, halfway through the movie. Oh. And they were like, hey, can we use your, can we get
your license
Patrick Bateman. Yeah. He's like, sure, direct to video, fucking
like no one's
Bill Shatner.
William Shatner.
I've never seen the sequel.
I refused to watch it. And I watch a lot of trash. And like I remember seeing that.
Oh, we know.
I remember seeing that on the shelf at Movie Warehouse when I was in college. And like I picked up, I was like, they made a sequel to this? How would you even make a sequel to this? And I read the back of the box, it's like one of the survivors of Patrick Bateman's like killing spree. And I was like,
that ruins it.
I was just like, I was like, I'm not watching this. This is complete
bullshit.
It was
before Saw, man. Think about it.
I just was so mad that they even like that had that on the back of the box.
Yeah, that could be an interesting way to do it because that many times when the victims have survived something, they've become bad people themselves. Yeah. We've seen it many times. And so that could have been like really compelling, but nothing about this movie made me think, I can't wait to see this.
It should have been it should have been like a sequel. It was like one of Patrick Bateman's ex-girlfriends who he abused mentally made her own movie, American Psycho 2, where she treats her boyfriend badly.
So many times when I thought about this movie, I would get it confused with Carrie the Rage 2 because the covers are so fucking similar. Even while she and I were talking about this week, and I kept saying the Rage, she's like, "What?
What the fuck
what movie are you talking about?" I meant like American Psycho Part 2.
And like she has like the sickle on the front.
She has
like,
a little sickle.
Like what is she, like a farmer? Like I never like.
Where would you get one of those in the city?
She's out in the field, like cutting some wheat down
behind the mask, man.
Like,
I mean, he goes to the original poster where he's got the knife.
Yeah, damn it. The knife.
I never realized this. There's two different posters of that. One of them has his reflection in the knife, and one of them has the reflection of the girl who, like, the one woman who's like dancing.
Yeah,
and she's like that has her reflection in it, which
yes.
I never realized. And then I think that's like on the unrated version,
the killer edition.
Yeah,
yeah. The don't look, just eat it.
Yeah, which I guess one of the differences in let's trying to demonetize this, but
it's too late.
It was one of the differences in the R-rated version and the unrated version is that in the unrated version he says asshole instead of just ass whenever he's telling her to eat it,
because it's very specific part of anatomy.
It's because it says ass, and there's obviously an edit where they cut out the word hole.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that with the sequel, whether this is real or not, like, I mean, we've pretty much covered everything about this movie. Is there anything that you need to say, Katie, besides fuck this book? Fuck this book.
I mean, yeah, fuck this book. Fuck Bret Easton Ellis. Although I know he's gotten sober and apparently is not as big a piece of shit anymore.
Yes,
but
he wrote The Canyons. I mean, that's a good movie.
Oh my god,
Lindsay Lohan.
Jesus. But I mean, we didn't talk about the fashion in America.
Oh yeah, you nailed that. You just top it off. It's freaking chapters of this. Here's the thing. Right after he does the main murder and kills all the girls and tries to, like, because he does it in his own place at the end.
Yeah.
And he just, and the body, and he talks about their breasts exploding. It's awful.
Yeah.
Like and then the next chapter is Huey Lewis in the news. And it's long chapter. It has nothing to do with anything but Huey Lewis in the news.
I mean, so.
And fashion.
Because
he talks about all of the clothes that they're wearing all of the time in every album cover.
I think it does capture like 80s New York, like that whole, like, I don't know, like it's like people I hate. Like, I don't like, you hate yuppies. Nobody likes them. But like watching a movie about it or somehow it's interesting, and like I think they do kind of like even in the club when you go to that club scene, it is very much like Party Monster for like the club kids all dressed up and everything, and like the playing the music, like pump up the volume and all that. Like I think it captures like that New York club scene, which is I'm so far away from that. Like like I see that, but I was like, oh, I know this from Party Monster. That's why I know like this exists, and they kind of put that in the movie, and it seems kind of neat.
Well, like a lot of the fashion you were talking about. The go ahead. On your rant of all this awesomeness that you want to be in.
The costume designer is Isis. I'm going to butcher her last name. It's either Mussenden or Moosenden.
That's what we do on this podcast.
I don't know, but Isis.
We just got demonetized.
Well, I love Isis.
Jesus Christ.
She talks about how she was given basically free reign with the costume design, and she made it super exaggerated because she had been told that none of this was real, that the story, it's all fantasy, so go as over the top as you want to with the costume design.
I didn't even notice because I'm thinking, look at these fucking schlep assholes that I want to see get killed by Patrick Bateman.
It's just
I didn't notice the clothes were like exaggerated.
Everything is perfect. And I mean, it's the 80s, so
I'm used to Beetlejuice people.
Silhouettes were exaggerated anyway. You had the big shoulders, larger lapels. And but she made sure every man in the movie had an impeccably tailored suit. Like down to it was each one was bespoke by Cerruti for each actor. And I mean, Patrick Bateman obviously had more, but they had to use this like lesser known Italian house, because most brands wouldn't allow their name to be used in the movie. Like when he's in bed with the prostitutes and he's like, don't touch the watch.
Oh, it's supposed to be Rolex.
Yeah. In the book it's Rolex, but Rolex was like, absolutely
not.
Wasn't Whitney Houston said the same thing?
Yeah, the Whitney Houston song is like one of those like Muzak sound-alike songs.
Yeah.
It's an orchestra. Yeah.
And they claim that it was just a budget issue, that they couldn't pay for the Whitney Houston song.
No.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think she was really game.
Because you can write about that. I mean, Stephen King does it constantly. Like, he'll just do a song at the beginning of each chapter. And this book is just flooded full of all these songs constantly on his headset because he doesn't want to be in reality.
It's almost like me. I'm just constantly listening to music.
I need a soundtrack to my life.
Yeah.
But I did think it was really interesting. Well, American Psycho is still referenced in runway shows like to this day.
That's wild.
Yeah, like especially back in 2023, the fall winter collections, like Valentino, Armani.
It's the American Psycho collection.
It basically was like
what the hell?
Almost exact silhouettes taken from the movie, which had been taken from Armani and Valentino then.
Here comes Death Metal Dave in the sock and chainsaw. You'll notice it as he swings around.
I did notice the large amounts of like mousse in women's hair in this movie, where it's just like, boom, just like a big.
Everybody's hair is a fucking fire hazard.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, because women's fashion wasn't paid as much attention to. I mean, they did have the big coats, like you see Evelyn's big fur coat.
Shoulder pads.
Lots of shoulder pads.
And Courtney's large camel-colored coat. But yeah, it was like, this movie is about men's fashion. And because it was something that these people paid attention to. And just as much as they put work into their cards, they cared about what kind of cufflinks they were wearing.
That are misspelled.
Yeah.
Oliver People's glasses.
All of those cards, all those business cards are misspelled in the movie. All of them. Yes.
I never even noticed.
Acquisitions.
Yeah.
It's, missing the C.
I can't remember that, but we looked, I was like, holy crap.
It's like acquisitions.
Yeah.
Acquisitions.
Yes.
See that print?
Cillian Rail. Oh, man. Do we even need to talk about the writer? Because I think we've pretty much dismantled him.
Oh, yeah.
We've eviscerated him. Dave, you want to talk about him?
No. We've already gone through everything.
He's very divisive.
Yeah. I feel like we're an hour and a half in.
Yeah, definitely.
We don't need to talk about this asshole anymore.
No.
He's rich. Congratulations. You gave him money. And Huey Lewis. And
this is true. Yeah.
I doubt he gave the news anything.
From the 6 times I rented it, he probably got some money from that.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that the people who did allow their stuff to be put into the movie, it's like, it's not like death metal bands. It's Huey Lewis in the News and like all these other people that he's lit. Phil Collins.
David Bowie has the final as over the credits at the end of that. And like, was it New Order is on there?
Oh, there's a lot of, all the 80s stuff, of course.
It's like 80s music, but it's like, it's not like when people make 80s movies now, it's just like, oh, put that Bon Jovi song on there. They just think every single song in the 80s was like that. But it's like,
around blind eyes.
It's like, it's like deep cuts of 80s music. If that's a thing.
Yeah.
But
I was not surprised that Jean-Paul Gaultier allowed his name to be used in this movie.
As a body bag.
Very on brand for him.
As an overnight body bag.
Who did you get that overnight bag?
Yeah. It's almost like, I don't know, I could go on, but I feel like somebody else might have a story.
A final thought.
Go ahead, Ace.
Let's see. A lot of upper middle class men out there may think of themselves as a Patrick Bateman type, or to a lesser extent, Marcus Halberstam. But are they really? I would say most of these not so well-read men are just as forgettable as Patrick was. So do us all a favor. The next time you're watching a film and the meaning flies way over your head, do us all a favor. Have a seat, chug your energy drink, and please shut up about Fight Club.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's perfect.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's great.
But before we go,
David,
I got a question. Now, if you were gonna murder somebody and you needed to distract them by talking about a band, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. The Dead Kennedys.
Dead Kennedys?
Yeah. And I think that fits perfectly with this.
Then Jello Biafra ran for governor.
He did. Yeah, can you imagine? But here's the thing. I discussed this with Katie the other night. I was like, here's the thing when it comes to the book. It's so over the top and you're in the perspective of this awful, awful human being. It reminds me of a lot of how Dead Kennedys will put you in the position of the cop or the politician or the person who's actually the bad person and you're supposed to see the reflection. That's how I looked at this book until, there's a lot of different perspectives. It's actually changed my perspective on that. But that's how it was. Dead Kennedys.
Dead Kennedys.
Is Steve about to murder us right now? He's distracting
I'll be right back.
us.
I have to return some videotapes.
I don't know. This may be just because I've listened to like one of their albums today, but I would just like start talking about the band Hypocrisy. Just be like, it's like, well, you know, their early work was a little too raw for me. But then when they got the new lead singer and they started singing, they started singing about aliens for 3 albums. That's when they really came into their own.
Oh no!
For me, it would be Gore. It'd be so easy.
I knew I was either gonna be Cannibal Corpse or Gore.
He'd be like, then Solborg Destructo got his buddy Techno Destructo back, and they raised Gorgor from the dead. Now, what you may not know,
There's this whole thing about Antarctica.
See, you could just keep going. But Katie, what would yours be?
I think that parallels the movie perfectly.
My Elliott Smith. 100%.
Oh,
and
wow. We're all depressed tonight.
I could get into the absolute minutia of his music and his life and just put somebody to sleep so they wouldn't even see the axe coming.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You wouldn't even see it.
I'm over here Googling Elliott Smith as we speak.
Oh my
Let's
God.
see.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, he was a big deal, and he unalived himself, right?
That is up for debate.
Oh.
It was never, the case is still open.
Did you see I say unalived?
Yeah.
You know.
Sound like one of the kids on the TikTok.
It's like, I saw some TikTok that was like, if I ever got brutally, attacked and murdered only for some teenager to make a YouTube video about how I got graped and unalived, I'm coming back to haunt your ass.
Yeah. I thought we did. You guys.
Yeah, that's not the question. You think those are all good answers? If you wanted to tip somebody off, you just start talking about Phil Spector.
Oh, God.
Like, wait, what the fuck?
The wall of sound, you see, was a Phil Spector image.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really came into their own on and got dressed.
Incorporated. I think we've had enough of this.
Let's get us out of here, Dave. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, please. All that crap.
All that
Dave's
stuff.
Gonna tell you.
Like, share, and subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, or if you're watching us now, YouTube, thank you. Anchor FM, Breaker, Google Podcast. One of these isn't here anymore, isn't it? Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify.
Anchor.
Anchor FM is gone.
Apple Podcasts, Facebook. OnlyFans.
Yeah. We're still going strong in 47 countries. Why, I don't know. But yeah, and if you're watching us on YouTube, as we've said, we say what we want. We don't really censor ourselves, and that's why our views are low and all that, because they just bury our adult content. Because if I don't make it adult, you'll get wiped out like Trauma did. Oh, they had their entire channel wiped off.
Damn.
Yeah. Anyways, bye.
Bye.
I have to return some Dave tapes.
Oh, God.
Good
I don't like that.